Hi, Jessica. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing wonderful, doing wonderful. I don't know about you, but in Kansas City, are kids ever going to go to school?
They're there today, but we're not in Miami, which makes me sad.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I guess we're about to have some snow tonight. But yeah. So what takes you to Miami?
Well, I've been seeing your beautiful co-host, Erin, is in Miami, and I thought that we should all go there to party.
Oh my gosh. Well, Erin Fulk needs no help to party. She's always down for a good time. And so, as we're getting everything ready for the show, it's kind of like chaos when Erin's not here to run everything. So I'm really lucky she babysits me, but we still can't believe the show's been going on for 5 years and you've been a big part of it. How do you connect with so many entrepreneurs on a daily basis?
Introductions from great people. Kansas City is all about helping people. We're such a friendly place that I just get introduced to a lot of people because I think that they know I'll take care of them and introduce them to other great people that are like them.
That's awesome. So do you want to rub it into anyone watching from Kansas City that if they're watching, we want them to post in the comments because we'll read them. But do you want to talk about what you'll be doing today to make everyone in Kansas City upset?
Well, I am going to be co-hosting today with you. I'm taking over Erin's spot while she's in Miami, and I think that should make everyone really jealous because this is the best show ever, and I'm super excited to be here.
Well, that's great. Well, when Chloe, who's running it behind the scenes, because Erin does like 3 jobs when she's here. When she pulls up the comments, we'll read them, and without that, we'll no one comes here for us, Jessica. Although no, that people are here for you. They could be here for the guests. So when we hear the music, we'll start the introductions. What do you think?
I think that's great. I can't wait to see who's on the show today.
I know. Well, I know Bestway International, Evardy Construction Camp. But first up, we have Jeff. Whoa! And number 2, we have Michael.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, gentlemen. Welcome. Look at us. We're running it so good without Erin here.
I know.
Without any further ado, Jeff, who are you? What do you do? And how'd you get to Kansas City?
And I'll go real quick because it's a very short story. It's not really. I'm a husband and a father of 3 grown, beautiful daughters. They take after their mother. Because how I got here, here's the quick story. I grew up in Florida, so I do miss where Erin is right now. Went to college in North Carolina, was in communications, was headed back to my hometown for a job with a CBS affiliate in Orlando. It was my senior year in college. I decided I was going to the seminary. My friends in North Carolina didn't really understand what that meant because of that accent. They thought, well, we're all going to the cemetery. I said, no, seminary. Seminary is it's a 4-year master's degree, and in the Lutheran church, which I'm part of, they choose your first church where you will serve. So I wanted to go back to the East Coast, and they put me in Nebraska. To quote the late Gene Hackman from Unforgiven, when Clint Eastwood says to him, I thought you were dead. And Gene Hackman goes, hell, I thought I was dead too. And I just woke up and realized I was in Nebraska. Anyway, Nebraska is a great state. I'm sorry if I just offended a bunch of people.
You're all good.
After doing time in
Kansas City only.
Yeah, after I did some time in Nebraska, I took a call to serve in St. Charles, Missouri, where I also was asked to serve as a police chaplain. I spent 11 years doing that before a church in this area called, and I accepted that call and have served as a senior pastor for 16 years. And I just retired from that position a couple of months ago. So I'm looking at a career change after a total of 30 plus years. It's time for something new.
So, Jeff, I feel like no new situation can phase you. What advice do you give to people when they walk into a new room and they don't know anyone?
Well, don't be afraid to go and say hi. Yeah, I mean, here's what's weird. So I'm used to being up in front of people. I'm used to talking to people and stuff like that. But actually, I'm more of an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to. I mean, I get recharged by being alone. But I think it's especially in really any industry. I mean, it's about relationships, right? And so to know how to grow those relationships or build those relationships, you just have to get to know who the person is as a person. Right? What's their story? Everybody's got a story.
And then a little quick question here before I ask Michael his background. You think most people are introverted or extroverted?
I think most people are introverted. I think most people, I mean, like I enjoy being around people, and then after I'm around a lot of people, I don't want to be around people. In fact, the joke
Ah,
in the joke in ministry was ministry would be fun if it weren't for the people. But that's being facetious. Yeah, I think most people are introverts. I think.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. So, Chloe, we're going to restart the shot clock for Mr. Michael here. Michael, who are you? What do you do? And how'd you get to Kansas City?
Hey, everyone. I'm Michael Mallouk. Got to Kansas City, born and raised here. Grew up in Overland Park. That took me to the University of Kansas, representing today, even though it's been an unfortunate season so far. But yeah, it took me to the University of Kansas, where I was for 4 years, and then moved back with some college roommates to the Brookside area of Kansas City. So we live 2 minutes away from the Brooksider and Charlie Hoopers, which has been fun, but a real test of our responsibility and discipline. What I do while I was in college, living in a fraternity house, me and a buddy of mine put an ATM machine in our fraternity house, which almost no one uses ATMs anymore, but it quickly grew. By the time we graduated, we had 65 ATM machines when we left college. So we do that, and our company also offers merchant services like credit card processing. So that's what we do. We run that company with a third partner.
So, what was the biggest shock when getting into your current business? Like, what was a curveball for you?
Oh man, everything. I think realizing the complexity of having to, manage relationships and people across people that you're not seeing face to face every day. Yeah, just learning how to manage the people that you work with.
I know Jessica works with a lot of entrepreneurs, so I'm sure she'll have a question here that follow this one. But for you, what's the most exciting part of your business?
I think it's the most exciting and difficult, but waking up every day knowing it's not the same, and knowing that you're kind of responsible for your performance. There's no boss to push you, and you're not going to get a salary if you don't show up that day or perform well that day. It's kind of just all on you, and you eat what you kill. And I enjoy that, and my partners enjoy that. It's been a lot of fun.
I'm like so jealous that you started your own business so early in life. I read this article today that said that the average entrepreneur starts their business at mid 40s, 41, 42. And so you have 2 extra decades to improve yourself, to learn all the rites of passages that most founders don't get that extra time to learn. What has been your scariest point as a founder at this point?
Oh man. I don't think we've had it yet. So knock on wood, it doesn't show up for a while.
If and when it does, surround yourself with really good mentors and people to lean on.
Thank you. It's great advice.
So Jessica, you want to lead off and ask Jeff the next question?
I absolutely do. So Jeff, tell us, what is the most pivotal moment in your career so far? I know that, you're in a stage of transition right now, but you've had such a great long career. Will you tell us if there's that one moment that sparked or changed or impacted you that you can share with us?
Yeah, and I thought about that question before, and there's because I'm old, there's probably a number of different pivots, if you will, turning points. One of those would be when I became a police chaplain. I've always worked with law enforcement in some capacity, but when it became official to actually get in the car, get to know these officers, and find a way in which I can be there for them in their darkest moments and help them. And so that, because that's a one-on-one thing, it allowed me to see what kind of a difference I could not only make for an individual, but for the community as a whole too. My job was to make sure that they were healthy and good at what they were doing. And because I was a chaplain, I'm not their boss. and I'm not HR. I'm not, you
They
know,
could trust
I'm not a shrink.
Mm.
So they can share whatever they want with me, and it's a safe place. And so I felt honored to be accepted into that culture. And I still work with a lot of officers in various agencies around here, not on an official chaplaincy basis, but word gets around. And so that was a very pivotal moment. And then I think just most recently, recognizing work-life balance. Okay, so everyone knows what that means, but to practice that and put it into practice and actually live it. And so, reached a point in my previous career where, it's time to take a break and get priorities straight. And that's would be faith and family and health. And I think everything else just falls into place after that. And so it's a pivotal moment because I know I've got a lot more ahead of me. But I'm also, just know when it was time to put in some early retirement, take a break, breathe, and before getting back into the fray.
I'm curious, have you ever heard of this organization called Cop Line?
Cop Line. I know there's a lot of different. Is that one that helps in terms of mental health and?
Yeah. And so like all over the nation, any police
Mhm.
officer, any Leo can call 1-800-COP line, and a former police officer will answer their phone call who has been trained to talk to them about whatever experience they just endured, or maybe they don't want to go home and take that home to their
Right.
spouse. They want to talk to somebody about it. So anytime I see a uniformed officer, I'm always like, because I'm not an introvert, believe it or not. So I always run up to them and say, do you know about Cop Line?
Yeah.
In Kansas City, I have yet to meet any police officer who's been, in uniform when I ask that question that they know about Cop Line. So I always try to spread the word because it's a resource that our police officers need access to. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Providing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, thanks for doing that. That's huge. There's a lot of different resources out there. One of the goals, we'll get to that, is to raise awareness and to instill into that culture that it's okay to ask for help.
In the stigma. So I encourage you to check out 1-800-COP line in case you're interested in finding something passionate to do. And now I'm going to switch over to Michael. If we could start the clock down on you, Michael. Will you please share with me in what is the most pivotal moment in your career so far?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a long story, but of my two partners, there's my co-founder and I, who are college roommates, known each other since 7th, 8th grade, and then our third partner's a little bit older than us. But my co-founder and I, we worked from our first day of college to our last at a popular bar establishment that Scott Havens has frequented. Maybe he's been there a few times.
Have I been there?
In Lawrence. Oh yeah, if you went to KU, you've absolutely been there. Yeah. And we worked there first day of school to last. We did everything from mop the floors to clean puke out of toilets, all of it. And we just recently, 3 or so months ago, took over. We do all their payment processing. So all the card readers, terminals, we process all the payments, do all the support. So not as much pivotal, more in terms of it was kind of reassuring to know the value of hard work and just kind of seeing that we were on the right path and how far we came in 4 years. It was really rewarding to see. And I would say that.
I love that for you. That's a full circle moment.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
only 23, so bravo, because some of us work for a really long time to see those full circle moments happen. So bravo for already experiencing that and recognizing it.
Yeah, thank you.
The business that you most want to approach moving forward, what industries for our audience would be helpful in terms of what they can be thinking about that you're interested in?
Oh, I appreciate you thinking of me. I think bar and restaurant would be a big one. Any business using QuickBooks, just looking to help business owners reduce their fees on accepting payments and put it back into their pocket. I wasn't really familiar with it when I started, but the cost of accepting a payment over card is pretty high, and it's a little ridiculous at some points, and owners can seriously lose a lot of margin on it. So it's kind of rewarding to help business owners recognize that they could be saving money and put it back into their pockets.
I had no idea that. So if I'm just a normal business and I sign up, what am I giving up?
We've seen anywhere from 3 to 4%, which is pretty significant over the course of a year.
So like if you have no idea what you're doing, it could be like 3 to 4% if they don't talk to a professional like yourself.
Yeah. And a lot of those companies will raise it every 6 or so months without informing the business owner too.
What?
Yeah. It's a little crazy.
So literally you have to like stay on top of it at all times.
Absolutely.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, Jeff, I'll transition you because as you were leading as a pastor, I wonder if you even knew that with the businesses that you ran. So for you, I mean, I can't believe it's already going into second quarter of 2025. Mm-hmm. What are your goals for 2025 and how can Kansas City help you?
My goals are to, because I don't have the blinker on with the off-ramp in sight. I mean, I've got, a little bit of time left here. And so my goal is to be in a position where I can still make a difference in someone else's life and to build those relationships. It's not, and I think this is true of a lot of people, Michael, including yourself as an entrepreneur. I mean, if you just chase the mighty dollar, then that becomes your purpose. And there really is no fulfillment in that. I mean, in the end, there isn't. And so what I've learned over the years is whatever this next career change is, it's going to be more of an opportunity to use the gifts and skills and the leadership experience that I have to benefit someone else or to benefit that organization. I'm in talks right now. I know I'm in talks with a funeral home in Overland Park. The business side, I mean, I hate to say death is a business. Death is a business, but to be able to be there and not have it come across as a business. And so funeral homes have family service counselors or family service advisors to help people pre-plan, get all their arrangements in order so grandma and grandpa don't have to worry about the kids fighting over what they want for the funeral. It's not a subject people like to talk about, but when it happens you're kind of forced to. So there's got to be a human being on the one side of it to be able to guide people through that. And I've been doing funerals for 30 plus years, so I know what it's like to be in that atmosphere, to have compassion, to help the people through that. So I'm not sure if that's the door that's going to swing wide open. It kind of looks like it. That interests me because it is sales. Mm-hmm. But it's really meeting people where their need is at that time. And so my goals would be to, settle into something like that. And, like I said, continue to make a difference and help people, as well as I want to continue working with law enforcement as much as I can. Thanks, Jessica, for the 1-800-COP line. There's a lot of resources out there. And
I have another one for you. I would really like for you to meet Crystal Webster with Sharing Solace. She has tons of relationship with funeral homes, and I think that she can potentially open up a lot of doors for you.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on what she does exactly, but I feel like her company creates like keepsakes from ashes, and I feel like you guys could partner together, or she could open up a lot of doors for you.
Right. And I know it sounds weird. It's like, I really admire, Michael, what you're doing. I mean, you got ATM machines in the business side of it, and keep our bars healthy. I'm a good Lutheran. But this side of it too, you think about someone has to be there to talk about these things that may be uncomfortable, and that's my wheelhouse. And so if I can use my gifts that way, then we'll see what I can do.
So Michael, 2025 going into the second quarter, what are your goals and how can Kansas City help you accomplish them?
Yeah. It's a shame Erin's not here because both you and her are part of the goal. Scott, myself, and Erin serve on the board of a charity called KC Can. It's near and dear to my heart for a number of reasons, but one, because it's actually my parents and their good friends who started it. And Scott and some others have really taken the reins and taken it to the next level. But Scott got me on the board with him and a bunch of other great people who are super well connected in Kansas City. Everyone does their part to kind of raise awareness for it, whether it's fundraising, selling tables, finding new organizations to partner with. getting live auction item donations, silent auction item donations. But my goal for 2025 is to play a bigger role in that board and see if we can have the auction this year generate a record-breaking number. I should have come prepared with what that number was.
I don't know what it is.
I was going to say, if you remember baseline what it is.
386,000.
There you go. Okay. We'll quote that. But yeah, so if there's any business owners or decision makers listening, we'd love to have you as a sponsor, buy a table, donate anything you can. There will be links on my LinkedIn, Scott's LinkedIn, Aaron's LinkedIn, all the other board members to donate. But it's a really great cause. It stands for KCCAN. It's Kansas City Children's Assistance Network. So it goes to all different types of organizations around the city working to get kids in underprivileged communities resources they need or skills they could learn to better themselves. So that's my goal, just raise as much awareness and money donations for that as I can.
That's awesome.
Michael, you're really, really good about following up, being on top of things, making sure you can serve others and help them in any way you can. A lot of people watching the show have kids that are not too far from where you are. What advice would you give 19 and 20-year-olds that have helped you if you look back in the rearview mirror that maybe you wish you would have done more of?
Oh, man. Always, it's going to sound very cliche, but always take the time to go meet with someone, have coffee, lunch, beers with someone like a Scott or Jessica or Aaron who does something that interests you and that you could see yourself doing in the future. I mean, because you will just learn so much from every single person you connect with. And then those people have huge networks as well. So even if, Scott wasn't doing something you were interested in or something you didn't think you'd want to learn, he knows 5 other people that do things that you might think are cool. And you're going to learn something from every single one of those experiences.
That's great advice. Do you do golf courses?
Yeah, we do.
No, I know. I'm just thinking of other good hobbies that you can be in. So Jeff and I and Jessica can tag along for the bars and the golf courses. Well, Jessica, apologize you had to put up with me without Erin here. She runs the whole thing and makes the whole world go round. But we really want to thank Bestway International and Evardy Construction. They're really good buddies. They're really great organizations to work with. And we found out that anyone that knows them are really fun to have a beer with. So without any further ado, Jeff and Michael, we really appreciate it. Jessica, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I can't wait for you to do it again without me so you don't have a horrible co-host. But we're going to wave at the computers and Chloe's going to turn us off. So we will see you guys. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.